Over the past few weeks, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. during the week to work on this YouTube channel. This stemmed from an experiment that I thought of one day when I was driving home from work. I was having a lot of trouble staying on task and holding myself accountable to work on this YouTube channel, and I wasn't able to stay consistent. And just like anyone else, this is because I have a pretty busy life. For example, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to see my girlfriend after work, and because we live so far away from each other, I end up spending most of the night there. And then the weekends are almost always busy with activities, so it gets challenging to find time to work on it. So for the longest time, I've been trying to use Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to try and find an hour to work on a video. I would get back from work, exhausted, make myself work out, make dinner, and shower, and then by the time I was done with those activities, it would already be 7 p.m., which by that time I would be too tired to even begin. So I needed to make a change if I wanted to see what I was actually capable of. A few weeks ago, I had this realization, and I wasn't really gonna get anywhere if I was only using 1 hour every 3 days a week. Instead of feeling bad about not feeling capable of working at night, and because I would rather continue to go to sleep at the same time, why not give this whole wake up early thing a try? I mean, I already wake up at 6 a.m. for work because my work starts at 7 a.m. So what if I just woke up at 5 a.m.? Just for a little bit of context, in the past, I've woken up at 5:30 and found it to be extremely difficult. I'd be able to do it in the beginning, but the longer I did it for, the harder it would get. Part of this was because I wasn't consistent with going to bed at the same time every night. I mean, I was in college when this was happening, and then I didn't care too much about being super productive in the mornings. But regardless, when I tried doing this in the past, it didn't work because of that lack of consistency. But now, I go to bed at 10 p.m. every night. As soon as it hits 10, I'm either in bed or asleep. So, knowing this, I figured I'd give it a try, and if I couldn't sustain it, then I'd just go back to what I was doing before. And so I did it for the first day. The first day I woke up at 5 a.m. I woke up excited and ready to grind. I had a ton of energy and I felt like my creativity was a little bit more on point than it usually was, which kind of surprised me. I realized that I was excited to get up and work because this was a project that I was truly passionate about. And so I went about my day, and when I got home, I gave myself permission to do all the other things that I enjoy doing: my workout, taking my time to eat my dinner, relaxing after work, and I didn't force myself to be super productive when I was already mentally spent from the day. The next few days, I kind of noticed the same thing. I was super productive and I actually enjoyed getting up to work because once again, I felt like I was moving the needle in the direction that was directly impacting me rather than someone else. And to add to that, I was working with a mental state that wasn't spent from work already. So I kept the experiment going the full week. The only thing I really noticed by the end of the week is that I was a little bit tired. The only thing I really noticed by the end of the week was that I was a little bit more tired. Because instead of getting the 8 hours that I was typically used to, I was only getting about 7. However, while I was getting less sleep, I still feel like there's a great benefit in doing this because I've been able to produce 2 videos a week for the past few weeks and have found more enjoyment in doing these videos because now I'm not constrained by the specific days that I can work on the project. I can work on it pretty much every single day of the week, and I can always do something to move the needle forward. When you're working on your own personal projects, this is very important because it builds momentum in a way that you just can't do when you're doing things every other day. In a lot of ways, it's like working out. If you work out once a week, then you're never going to achieve the results you want. But if you do a little bit 3 to 4 times a week, then you'll get there a lot faster. And maybe I'm sacrificing my sleep in the short term for this. But maybe this is what pushes me over the edge to keep me consistent, to continuously get better at making videos, to make my content closer to what I envisioned originally. Waking up early is something that I used to write off completely because I figured it was just hype and didn't really make a difference whether you stayed up late or woke up early. But I think it makes all the difference. I think the difference comes from your mental state at those times of day, at least for me. I feel the most creative in the mornings. I feel the most refreshed after sleep. And so, why would I instantly spend all that mental energy at my job first? Instead, I could use an hour of that time to do deep, focused work on a project that brings me joy and directly impacts me, and then I can go to work. So, if you've been wondering something similar and want to try waking up early to get a little bit more out of each of your days to work on a project that you love, I would suggest you try it. The worst comes to worst, you're super tired and you just have to go back to the way things were before. By pushing yourself to that limit, you find your breaking point and you find out how to orient your work such that it works for you and not you working for it. If you have a project that is worth the energy but you struggle to find time, try changing your sleep schedule. It may be your ticket to success. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.